other weirdo astroturf libertarian news, Reem Ibrahim from the Institute of Economic Affairs was on the Jeremy Vine show today, debating actual genuine friend of the show, Owen Jones, over the privatization of the water companies. And this debate, it's also pretty funny. Let's have a watch. Let's tune into the action.
Let's get into the next topic. Is it right for water bills to go up by 36%? 0207 862 2222 is the number. So 36%. That's how much the average bill will rise over the next 5 years, we're told, after firms got the green light from the regulator Ofwat this morning. In cash terms, that means bills going up by an average of £31 per year and will total an extra £588 by the next decade. Ofwat said the money will help clean up rivers and seas. I thought they were supposed to be doing that anyway. Meanwhile, it's been reported today that most water firms increased bonuses for bosses last year. They went up by an average, this is how much they went up by, £180,000. And almost, by the way, 60,000 homes across Hampshire are without water because of some sort of technical issue at Southern Water, which could continue until just before Christmas. So if you're one of those homes, do call us. So, Owen, I don't know, you're probably cross about this.
Not happy about it. Do you know how much water bills have gone up since privatisation of water in 1989?
No, tell me.
360%. And we were told...
That's adjusted for inflation or not?
Probably not. I mean, obviously...
Yeah.
I know in real terms,
Definitely not in real terms.
You could buy a house for £5 back then.
In real terms, they've gone up a huge amount.
Right,
I'll double check 360% if it's real terms. But in any case, we were told at the time that it would mean lower prices, competition, it'd be good for consumers, and it hasn't. And just to show you what we could have done to lower those bills, and we should do now, because you mentioned the salaries, since privatisation, shareholders have got £78 billion in dividends. That money could instead have gone to investing in the infrastructure, because what they failed to do, because every year shareholders get an average of £1.6 billion a year, they could have invested that. And we know they could have done that because in Scotland, where it's publicly owned, they spend 35% more on infrastructure. And that in Britain would have meant, in England, sorry, would have meant £28 billion. Okay. Even Camilla Cavendish, that well-known lefty, former advisor to David Cameron, wrote in that well-known lefty rag to Financial Times, privatising what was never going to work. It means higher prices, and it means just raking
I will
it
come to Reem in a second, but let me just go, because we've got somebody in Southampton. I wanted to hear from someone in Hampshire, because, Jackie, you are one of the... Is it 60,000 homes without water?
It is, yeah. Hello, everyone.
I heard it on the news this morning. I couldn't believe it. In the run-up to Christmas, so you can't even run a bath, you can't do anything.
Can't do anything. No, they've said that we've been off for 3 days now, and they've said it probably won't be back on till Sunday. Queued for an hour yesterday for bottled water. They've now run out, but if you take your empty bottles back, they'll fill it up from the tanker. You know, it's just ridiculous. And I've got the whole family Christmas, so you know, if it goes then, don't know what we do.
It's quite shatters your confidence, doesn't it? What do you think, Reem?
Well, I think that what's happened in Southampton is absolutely absurd. And of course, especially the run up to Christmas is not great at all. We're talking about an average rise of about £2.50 a month.
Not going to answer about the failures of the privatised water company? You'd think the Hayekian would have loads to say about the efficiencies of the free market and how privatisation, private ownership and the pursuit of profit maximises efficiency. It maximises efficiency. You'd think she'd have something to say about that and maximises the delivery and the quality of product delivered to consumers. Weird how she's pivoted to prices again.
It isn't a significant amount of money in totality. Of course, the companies wanted more. And you know, Owen spoke about the fact that shareholders in these water companies have taken huge amounts of dividends. We also know that these companies are doing very badly financially. Thames Water is in more than £16 billion of debt.
Yes, that's why it's bad that they gave out dividends to shareholders, because they gave it out of debts that they took on deliberately to pay them out to shareholders, knowing that customers would have to fit the bill because their industry is interwoven into the basics of running a country. People can't be without water.
They are asking for lifetime support from creditors. So there really is a question about where the money is going to come from. If the cost of water goes up, it makes sense that the price also goes up. However, the price mechanism is not working here. I agree with Owen that the system itself is broken. I just disagree
The
with the
privatisation
solution.
should never have happened.
No, that privatisation didn't happen properly. It happened in 1989, and what happened?
Yeah, no, it is not proper privatization. It's what they always say. It's not real capitalism. It's not real privatization. What are you going to do? Compete to have different pipes going to each individual house? Yeah, we've got 4 sets of pipes to ensure that we have water competition between the privatized water companies. Yeah, I'm sure that would work.
What happened was the government created these monopolies and then sold them to the private sector.
They haven't created monopolies. It is a natural monopoly. How can you not have a monopoly in water delivery? Explain to me, Reem. Explain to me, like I'm 5, like I'm an idiot, how one creates anything other than a monopoly out of water delivery.
The reason why privatisation works in so many other sectors is because people have choice and there's competition between providers. We don't have that in water.
Just on that, England and Wales are the only...
Yeah, we don't have it in water because that is the natural monopoly. That's not a choice that the government made to make it a monopoly. That is the natural state of being for water delivery. And yet you still think it should have been privatised, just differently. How differently? Tell me how.
Only place on earth where the entire water industry has been privatised. That's never happened anywhere else in its entirety. And look, water is a natural monopoly. It's a basic human need. The idea competition is going to work there makes no sense. You could be, unlike me, a passionate supporter of free markets and businesses taking over lots of things. But the idea, the most basic human need, which is a natural monopoly, should be used for profiteers. And you mentioned the debt pile. You're right. £60 billion debt mountain because they can't run the industry properly. We were told they'd manage the industry, but they racked up debt, which they then used for dividends.
This is the exact point. Nationalisation, again, taxpayers would have to foot the bill. The problem
That's not an argument that privatisation is right.
But the problem is that we have Ofwat, which decide what the price is, and these companies are saying we need more of that money, we need to increase bills in more so.
Okay.
We don't have competition.
Let's get another call. Charlotte is in...
Yeah, we don't have competition because it cannot exist. You're still arguing for privatisation and you have not demonstrated how you would be able to create competition within this natural monopoly. Endless reams, lol, of defence for the privatisation without any alternative plan to make it a competitive market.
Beautiful Durham. Hi, Charlotte.
Hello.
This is, you've got your water, I'm hoping, at the moment. You're not in Hampshire, so you're okay there. But
that's okay. I've got water, yes.
Excellent. What do you think about these price rises? Do you think they're justified?
No, they're not justified at all. They're only raising the cost of water for the consumer in order to pay failing bosses huge amounts of money. Now, your guest said that nationalisation would cost the taxpayers money. This is why my proposition goes further than nationalisation, and I'm talking about requisition of the water companies to bring them back into public ownership.
So you just seize the shares?
Absolutely.
Based Charlotte from Durham. We stan Charlotte from Durham. She is our requisition queen. Again, it would be popular. People would support this. People don't want to have to pay for it. We were happy to pay for the infrastructure. We're happy to pay into money that goes into capital investment. That's not a problem. Paying money for private industry profits and private industry CEO bonuses. Nah, we ain't about that shit. We ain't about it.
Is it because they tried that with the railways?
That's like communism. You can.
Yeah, it is. Suck it up, buttercup. Obviously, I'm joking. It isn't communism to nationalise without compensation, because we already have a case study on nationalising something with basically no compensation. In the case of Northern Rock, the reason why we managed to nationalise the failing building society Northern Rock during the financial crisis for basically nothing, because their liabilities, the debts that they owed, were higher in total than the overall share price. So once you took the liabilities away from the asset, it was valueless. And you look at Thames Water, you look at all of these other places that have massively racked up debts that they can't pay off to pay off shareholders. These are liabilities that cover the cost of the assets. Their valuation is zero. We can absolutely nationalise them for nothing, 100%. We have the case already. Did the nationalisation of Northern Rock for pennies damage investor confidence in the UK? Did it turn us into the Marxist-Leninist Brownite state? No, it didn't. It was just the natural successor to the failure of the business model of Northern Rock. And the same is true of Thames Water.
Cannot just seize assets.
I think they should
we're
go.
out of
People should go.
Yeah, you can. You can just seize assets. Absolutely. Just try and stop me.
To prison. Let's just go for it.
Everyone go to prison.
Not
just
everyone
people
goes
you
to
don't
prison.
like.
That's
But the fact is, they're talking about introducing criminal liability for water bosses, so I don't think it's that absurd.
You want shareholders to go to prison?
No, not shareholders. The bosses of these companies, which are literally risking our public health by ensuring the sewage in our water. People have probably died
This
because
is a
of it.
different
they're
thing.
saying
Charlotte, your suggestion is you simply seize the shares. Would you give any warning or just do it on a Tuesday morning?
There'd probably be some warning, but I'd like to say that I'm old enough to remember the original campaigns of advertisement when they did this, when they privatised the utilities, and there's the famous Tell Sid.
Tell Sid, yeah.
Sid was just your average sort of bloke who could perhaps go along and buy a few shares. But now it isn't like that, and private individuals can't buy shares specifically in Thames Water.
Well, that was always the plan. It was always the con of privatisation. No, we're democratising it by making the public the owners. Wealth doesn't funnel upwards when we deregulate our economy. No, it's fine. Sid's going to be fine holding on to his British gas shares. Did he end up with his British gas shares? Well, no, they ended up getting swallowed up by big conglomerates so that now we have Centrica owning British gas. Well done, Thatcher. Your shareholder democracy really worked really well, didn't it? A real privatisation success story.
They're not traded on stock.
Private individuals can.
It's only foreign conglomerates.
Okay, Charlotte, thank you.
Charlotte, what you're proposing is completely seizing assets off of people. With again, this is entirely immoral.
There's an easy way of doing it. Just swap the shares for government bonds. That's how you do it.
No, don't give them money, Owen. Don't give them things. Don't let them off the hook by giving them their money back. They're grand larcenists. Stealing money off hard-working British taxpayers. No money. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. We are taking back our water industry whether they like it or not. Oh, it's immoral to seize assets. It's immoral to poison people by putting shit into our waters. It's immoral to fleece consumers out of their hard-earned money by driving up bills because you have to pay off your debts that you accrued to pay off shareholders that hadn't made any value whatsoever. That's immoral, Reem. That's immoral. Requisition, all that is redress for the money that's been stolen from consumers ever since they were privatised in 1989.
By the way, and that
you don't think you should?
Well, no,
they didn't do it. Do you remember they
that
did?
would be less
Hang on.
immoral, but it would be.
They did it with Network Rail. I don't know if you remember, where they tried and they ended up in the government and Stephen Byers ended up in a legal action because the shareholders' value was suddenly destroyed.
Yeah.
And so but
if you say you're gonna nationalise something in advance, the share then collapses and then you buy it on the cheap.
Yeah.
Absolutely unprecedented levels of government intervention.
Okay.
We did it with rail.
Good. Based. I mean, it's not unprecedented. There was that level of government intervention in the Soviet Union, but I'm not sure that's what she's trying to reference here.
And it's wrong. It's absolutely
rail track,
wrong.
I meant. Sorry, not
rail track.
What we actually want is water bills to be cheaper, and the way that we do that is for the price mechanism in the actual market. We don't have that. What we currently have is a government.
How would you set up a price mechanism and create a competitive market in a natural monopoly? How would you do it? You haven't got a plan. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. She is paid as a political commentator. She is paid as a communications officer for the Institute of Economic Affairs. I wonder who might fund the Institute of Economic Affairs. Now, we don't know because, strange enough, weirdly, they keep all their donors secret. But you'd better expect that people who go out to propagandize as to why it's absolutely fine for asset strippers to invest huge amounts of money in fleecing the regular people of this country by owning natural monopolies, right? Macquarie, who owns Thames Water, who loaded up on the debt, who now owns Southern Water, their entire business model is owning infrastructure they can use to make rentier income off of without having to bother investing any money because that's also a natural monopoly. That's their business model, is making money off of civic infrastructure, which they haven't built, but they can buy and own and fleece people with rentier income from. As Zeod puts it in chat, I wonder why all the sovereign wealth funds are so quick to invest in water companies. It's almost like they're a safe bet source of revenue and we're stupid handing it to a foreign government, not just keeping it to fund the NHS. 100%. You're absolutely right. It's why Michael Burry, the man who predicted the GFC, invested in water, because he realised that just like housing was integral to the American economy, so is the basic building block of life in water. It is a safe investment bet because there is always a return, because there's always demand. There's a reason why rich people who have interests in owning these things fund junk tanks like the IEA to promote their propaganda. Funny thing is, nobody buys it anymore. No one's buying it after Liz Truss.
Create a monopoly that's been sold to the private sector, and the prices are being decided by a government regulator.
Okay, Charlotte,
we don't
thank you.
have privatisation.
You've got to regulate markets. That's the thing, haven't you? Paul in Kent, hello.
You don't have privatisation, chat. You heard it here first. Hey there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like and leave a comment. That helps the video out in the algorithm. If you subscribe and ring the bell, it'll let you know when I go live. I stream every day on YouTube and Twitch. You can also follow all of my socials down in the description. And if you want to support me in a more financial manner, there's a join button for memberships. It's just 99p to be a member on YouTube, as well as a Patreon, and there's some merch there as well. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.